Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we are solving paper 2, variant 2, 2025, May, June. Bismillah. The first question says what? The photograph shows an animal called mergay. Four processes that occur in the mergay are listed: excretion, growth, digestion, and respiration. How many of the processes that occur in the mergay are characteristic of all living organisms? Whenever I see this question, I remember Mrs. Gran. M for movement, R reproduction, S sensitivity, G for growth, and R for respiration, E for excretion, N for nutrition. How many of these processes are for all from Mrs. Grant? Excretion, yes. Growth, yes. Respiration, yes. Digestion is not listed. So how many are there? Three. Part of the base sequence of DNA from four species was determined. Species 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which two species are the least closely related? There is a rule. The more similar the DNA bases, the more closely related they are, right? So, which two species are the most closely related? Yes, species one. Let's compare it with two. There is a difference here. There is a difference here. There is a difference here. Species one. Let's compare it with three. T and T. There's a difference here. There is a difference also here. There is a difference here. There is a difference here. How many differences? One, two, three, four. Four. And here we said three. Species one and four. There is a difference here. There is no other difference. So which one are more the least closely related? So the ones which are having more huh, differences, which is one and three. Next, a single-celled organism has a chloroplast, cell wall, and a nucleus. Which kingdom is this organism placed in? It's what? A protocs. Why? Because how do I know? Fungus, most are multicellular. Plants, also most are multicellular. All are multicellular. Prokaryotes, they don't have chloroplasts. Protocs are the one which can work as this. Next, what is a leaf? A leaf is an organ. Student measured the length of a structure using a microscope. Magnification was 250. The image size of the structure was 5.00 millimeter. What's the actual length? I do my table. The table says I am. Image length, actual size, magnification. He needs what? Actual. So A equal I over M. So what's my answer? A, so the I here is 5 over 250 equals to what? Yes, C. Next, in this question, which row shows the condition when diffusion of oxygen into the blood is the fastest? Yes, so diffusion, these are the factors affecting it. Number one, concentration gradient. Number two, temperature. Number three, surface area. And there was a fourth factor, which was what? Who can remember? Which is the only factor inversely proportional to diffusion. Excellent. Distance. Okay? So when concentration gradient increase, diffusion increase. Temperature increase, diffusion increase. When surface area increase, diffusion increase, except for distance. When distance increase, diffusion decrease. So which row shows the condition when diffusion of oxygen into the blood is the fastest? I have to underline the keywords here. So which one will work? Excellent. A. Surface area is high, concentration gradient is high, and the diffusion distance is short. Next, uncooked potato cylinder of identical size were placed in four different liquids for 2 hours. The different liquids are listed. Pure water. So when I have pure water, what happens? The size of the potato will increase as the water moves from high water potential, which is the pure water, to the potato, which is the low water potential. Sugar solution that was less concentrated than the content of the potato. What does it mean, less concentrated? So if I have here the beaker, I have here the potato, the solution is less concentrated in solution in sugar, so this means it has high water potential, and the potato has what, low water potential, because it's less concentrated, so it has high water potential, so the water will diffuse into the potato. So here also the size of potato will increase. Sugar solution that was more concentrated. So in this case here, the potato, the solution is more concentrated, which means it has low water potential, and the potato now has high water potential, so the water will diffuse out of the potato from high to low. So here the potato size will decrease. A sugar solution that was the same, so same, it will stay same size. In which liquid will the potato cylinder increase in size? What's your answer? Excellent. A, 1 and 2. What is the correct definition of enzymes? Are they carbohydrates? Are they proteins? Act as a biological catalyst or act as a substrate? Act as a biological catalyst. A student investigated how the rate of photosynthesis is affected by carbon dioxide concentration, temperature, and light intensity. Okay, the graph shows the result. Carbon dioxide in graph. This one here, the carbon dioxide is still a limiting factor. For temperature, here temperature is not anymore a limiting factor. Tab at 4, light intensity, it's not also anymore a limiting factor. With what is a correct statement for these results? Carbon dioxide concentration is a limiting factor at 1. No enzymes are denatured at 3. Wrong. Enzymes are denatured. خلاص. Light intensity is a limiting factor at 4. Wrong. Temperature is a limiting factor at 2. Also wrong. Next, number 10. Diagram shows a cross section of a leaf. What is this? Waxy cuticle, palisade mesophyll cells, spongy cells or spongy layer if you're going to talk about it all, lower epidermis, upper epidermis, stomata, vascular bundle. So what is labeled X? Yes, palisade mesophyll. Next, in which part of the digestive system does physical digestion occur? Very easy question. 1 is the mouth, 2 the stomach, 3 pancreas, 4 large intestine. It happens where? What do you think? Yes, 1 and 2 in the mouth and the stomach. 13. The table shows the substrate and end product in 4 enzymes controlled chemical reactions. Which reaction was controlled by lipase? Lipase breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol, right? So, fats, which means oil, also. So, what's the substrate? Does it work on sugar, maltose, protein, starch? No, it's B. And it gives me fatty acids and glycerol. What is the function of microvilli in the small intestine? Are they increasing the condition of electrical impulses? Has no relation with electrical impulses. Movement of mucus, increased surface area for absorption. 14. Which rows shows the feature of xylem vessels? A xylem vessel in the plant which transports water and mineral ions. The vessel's wall, are they thickened or thin? They are thickened with what? Lignin, right? So C and D are wrong. Mitochondria are present or mitochondria are not present. Mitochondria are not present because the cells have no content, they are dead cells. 15. A student wanted to investigate the effect of humidity on transpiration rate. Transpiration rate is affected by these factors: humidity, temperature, wind speed, and humidity. As temperature increase, transpiration increase. As wind speed increase, transpiration increase. As humidity increase, transpiration decrease. She set up two sets of apparatus: tube X, tube Y. There is water in both. There is oil layer and there is a plastic bag. The oil layer is to prevent oxygen, carbon dioxide to enter, and here the plastic bag to increase what? The humidity. The masses of the water in both tubes were measured at the start and again after 5 days. The table shows the result of this investigation. In tube X, the mass of the water in the tube at the start per gram it was 40.3. At the end it was become what? 34.6. So plant X lost water, which means it has done transpiration. Okay, let's go for Y. At the start it was 41.0, at the end it became 39.4. It also has done transpiration, but is it the same rate? No, it is not the same rate. Look here for the difference. Look here for the difference. So when we added the plastic bag, it affected the humidity. Thus, when the humidity increased, transpiration rate decreased. So, which statement describe and explain these results? What do you think? D. Transpiration tube Y was lower than tube X as the plastic bag increased the humidity. 16. What is an advantage of a double circulation? It allows the mixing oxygenated with deoxygenated. No. It can keep the blood pressure high in the lungs, not only in the lungs, all over the body. It less carbon dioxide is removed from the body cell, not also less carbon dioxide is removed. No, more carbon dioxide is removed. It increases the waste removal efficiency. It's the oxygen is supplied to the body cells at high pressure. Next, which structure in the heart separates oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? Direct answer, septum. Which row shows the features of a vein? Very important to know the structure of a vein in paper 2. A vein has what? Thin wall or thick muscular wall? Thin muscular wall. Has valves or no valves? Valves are present. Very good. The lumen is large or small? Large lumen. Very important. So whenever it comes to veins, remember it by this: large TV, large TV. So thin membrane diameter is for the lumen is large and valves are present. So the answer is D. 19. Three statements about immunity are listed. The transfer of antibodies from mother to baby in breast milk is an example of passive immunity. Passive immunity, yes. Let's go for 2. Passive immunity results in a long-term immunity because of the production of memory cells. This is wrong. It's for active immunity. Active immunity is gained after vaccination with the antigens. Yes, it's right. So the answer is what? C. 1 and 3 only. 2 is wrong. Next question. The table shows the breathing rate and the average total volume of air breathed by a student when exercising for 20 minutes. So as you can see, this column shows the minutes that he has been exercising. Every 5 minutes he is taking the reading of what? Breath per minute or the breathing rate, and the volume of air entering per minute. Okay, so as you can see, when we started the investigation, he was doing 12 breaths per minute. Total volume entered was 5,000. After 5 minutes, 12 breaths per minute and total volume entering is 9,000. After 10 minutes, 12 breaths per minute and the total volume entering 15,000. So as the time passes, starting from 15 breath per minute increase and volume increase. طب from 0 to 10, average or the depth of breath is increasing. Okay, so let's read the MCQs. Number one, between 0 to minutes and 10 minutes, there is no change in the depth. There is no change to the depth of breathing. Wrong, it's increasing as you can see. Between 0 and 10 minutes, the depth of breathing increase. Yes, so let's keep it. Between 10 and 20 minutes, there is no change. Wrong, there is a change. Between 15 and 20, the depth of breathing decreases. Wrong, so my answer is B. What is the chemical formula of glucose? Direct question, which is C. C6H12O6. After a race, athletes experience oxygen debt. Diagram shows how the oxygen debt is removed. Lactic acid forms in the muscle. Lactic acid moves to the blood to the liver. Faster breathing supplies extra oxygen, and X is happening. What's X? What's happening at X? Aerobic respiration of the lactic acid in the liver. Next, 23. Which organ produces urea? Very important to know, liver. Which organ excretes urea? Kidney. Okay, so the answer here is talk about production, so it's liver. Diagram shows a vertical section through a part of the human eye. A fly is coming nearer to the eye. The eye begins to focus the image into close object. What's happening at the close object? What is happening there? I have to take care from Q, R, and S. Q is what? Ciliary muscles. R, the lens. S, suspensory ligaments. What's happening when they come when an object is coming closer? Very important. C, C, S, S. C, C, S, S. Ciliary muscle contract. Suspensory ligament slack. So and the lens becomes fat. So my answer is C. Which organ produces glucagon? Very important, 25D. A young seedling is growing underground. The shoot grows towards the surface of the ground. The root grows away from the surface of the ground. This is geotropism or gravity tropism. Let's make a table. This table is very, very important. So, the stem, the root, phototropism, and gravity tropism. The stem always shows a positive phototropism. The root always shows a negative phototropism. Stem always shows negative gravity tropism. A root always shows positive gravity tropism. Which row describes the responses involved? What's happening here? It's talking about a shoot grows toward the surface of the ground up and the root grows down. So what's happening here? It's gravity tropism, right? So the root is making gravity tropism, yes, while the shoot is also showing a gravity tropism, yes, but it's a negative gravity tropism, but he's applying gravity tropism. Type. Is there any phototropism? No, not yet, because it's still a seedling. No leaves are there. So it's A. Clostridium difficile is a species of a bacterium that resistant to many antibiotics. From 2002 to 2006, the number of people in one country infected with Clostridium increased from 1,300 to 6,200 people. What was the percentage increase in the number of people infected with Clostridium from 2,200 to 2006 to the nearest whole number? What's my rule? F minus I over I multiply by 100. How to calculate it? What was the number? 6,200 minus 2,000 minus 1,300 over 1,300 multiply by 100. I'm sorry, but the space is not enough for me. 6,200 minus 1,300 over 1,300 multiply by 100 and give your answer to the nearest number. What's the nearest number? What is the answer going for? It is 376.9 given to the nearest number, which is approximately 377%. What are the characteristics of asexual reproduction? Their fusion of gamete nuclei, which may be male or female. He's talking about gamete nuclei. Of course, no. There is no fertilization in this process. Genetic variety in the offspring, of course, also no genetic variety. They come identical to the parent. So 28D. Which description of a cross pollination is correct? If I have two plants like this, and here we have the flower, the pollen moves from a flower of another plant to the stigma, from the anther of another plant to the stigma of another plant. They must be the same species. This is cross pollination. Transfer of pollen from an anther of one plant to the stigma on different plant. But what if it's the same plant and the anther goes to the same stigma on the same plant, or the same stigma on the same flower, same plant? 30. Which row correctly links the named processes with its description? Menstruation and ovulation. Menstruation is the release of an egg. This is ovulation. Menstruation is the shedding of the lining of the uterus. Okay, let's keep it. Ovulation, the fusion of gametes. Wrong. Ovulation, the start of puberty. Wrong. So 30 is B. Next, 31. The diagram shows the inheritance of a genetic condition in one family. A circle is a female with the condition. If it's not shaded, it's without the condition. A square is the male with the condition. If it's not shaded, it's the male without the condition. So here, healthy woman is married to infected male. They give birth for 3 children. The boy is infected. The boy is crossed with, married to another woman. They give the raise to 2 children. One of the boys is infected. Okay, what can you conclude about this genetic condition? What do you think? The allele for the condition must be codominant. It's caused by a dominant allele, it's caused by a recessive allele. The alleles for the condition must be six linked. To answer this question, it's very important. What is the question that I have to ask myself? First of all, is there any individual, his phenotype is different than the parent? If yes, but this condition is recessive. If no, this condition is dominant. Let's look for this. This one, he looks like his father. This one looks like his mother, and this one looks like his mother. So let's go to the next family. This one looks like his mother. Sixth one looks like his father. This one looks like his father. Okay, let's go to this family. This one looks like his father, looks like his mother. This one doesn't look like this or this. So this individual, yes, is different than the parent. This individual is recessive. So the other individual, which is shaded dominant. But all of the shaded individuals are dominant. So what is this condition? It's a dominant condition caused by a dominant allele. Very important to know this trick. One more time. I ask, is there an individual? His phenotype is different than the parent? If yes, this individual is recessive. If no, this individual is dominant. Next, what is the way in which new alleles are formed? New alleles are formed by which condition? Mutation. Perfect. How does artificial selection differ from natural selection? Artificial selection changes the characteristic of living things. No. Artificial selection is based on genetic variation. This is natural selection. Artificial selection does not involve competition for resources. Okay, let's keep it. Artificial selection occurs over many generations. Wrong. This is natural selection. So my answer is C. 34. Which diagram shows a diagram of a xerophyte is labeled correctly? Waxy layer to stop the water from evaporation. Extensive root system to maximize water uptake. Excellent. A is the right one. Which row describes the energy flow into and through a food chain that starts with a plant, starts with a producer? So whenever I have a producer, it changes what? The light energy into what? Chemical energy. So it's 35 C. Okay. In this question, in a food chain, zebras are large mammals that eat grass. Zebras have many insects living on them, which suck their blood. Birds eat the insects. So, who's my producer here? The grass. Who's the first consumer? The zebras. Who's the second consumer? The insects. Who's the third consumer? The birds. So, the diagram shows some biological pyramids, as you can see. Pyramid 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which row identifies the type of pyramids for this food chain? Pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy must be what? A pyramid shape. So it's always what? 3. So my answer may be B, maybe C. Next, the graph shows also, the diagram shows also what? Pyramid of number. Which one shows the pyramid of number? Pyramid of number, let's first of all remember the number together. First one, grass. So it must be what? A baseline. Okay. Then who's eating the grass? Who's eating the grass? Zebras. Then zebra comes. So grass, zebra. Then who comes? Insects. Insects are many. So they must be what? More than zebras. Right? Then comes what? Birds. Birds, of course, as a tertiary living organism, must be also low. So this pyramid, which one resembles it? Of course, it's not three. خلاص, we have been through three. Also, it's not two. So it's one or four. What do you think? Are insects, which are the third, this much? No. So one is the most applicable one for us. So 36 is C. Diagram shows part of nitrogen cycle. Organic material enters ammonium ions. They are turned into ammonium ions by process X, and then they turn into nitrate ions into nitrogen gas. What's process X? It's nitrification, where we turn ammonia into nitrate. 38. The graph shows the number of water fleas in a newly created pond. Which event could be responsible for the shape of Y? Why the population is decreasing? Why it's increasing? The addition of predators which feed on the water fleas, causing the decrease of it. 39. When managing fish stocks as a sustainable resource, what is the reason for harvesting only the larger fish of a particular species? Very important. Large fish are easier to harvest. No, we need to keep it as a sustainable resource. Large fish sit all at high price. We need to keep it. Smaller fish are eaten. No, smaller fish are too young to breed. Excellent. That's why we keep them to breed and increase in number. Which feature make bacteria useful in biotechnology? They are not affected by antibiotic. Wrong. They don't contain plasmid. Wrong. They make complex molecule. Yes. They reproduce rapidly. Yes. So my answer is D. Thank you. See you inshallah next exam.